Holy buffet table! This is Flight Check Season 3, Episode 16. We're back, once again, talking all aspects of FlyQuest, and, hoo boy! Folks, we do have a lot to talk about, tonight. My name, as always, is Sandy Toes, and to my left, and my extra left, my fellow hosts, Noxwar and Curly Double Q. Right before we really get into it, do have to take a quick moment. Gotta acknowledge some stuff. Want to acknowledge the fact that last Thursday, on our Twitter account, we did report some misleading information regarding FlyQuest's approach towards an amateur player. And we should have done a much better job in validating that information before presenting it to the unbridled wilds that is the internet. And we will make sure that if there's an opportunity for us to take part in community reporting in the future, we will rigorously confirm any information that is conveyed to us. All three of us, we do take our roles and responsibilities as community content creators very, very seriously. And what ensued was not the reflection of our intentions and standards. We did put out a retraction tweet, but as anyone knows, retraction tweets are seen way less than initial rumor tweets, because the rumor is what captures everyone's attention in the first place. So we did what we could. Hopefully no lasting damage will be done, and we can repair what we did damage. So we do apologize. We are sorry, and we will do better in the future. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to tack on to that, but that's just kind of the collective stance for us all here.
I will say none of it was ever malicious in any way, shape, or form. It was genuinely from our hearts of being fans of FlyQuest and wanting to just make sure that things are staying ethically as healthy as possible, or healthy ethically as possible. Mm-hmm. And it only came out of the goodness, like, even if it did not come out that way. Only good intentions is all we meant to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Curly, anything from you?
Yeah, it's just when you take your first stab at doing a mix of journalism and kind of like trying to hold orgs to a higher standard, sometimes you're not going to get perfect information, you know? You're not well established, so you don't get the whole picture. So it's just, we jumped the gun a little bit, we learned for the future, and as Nox said, all of this was out of care for the org, for the players, for the scene, and it was just handled poorly, especially given how volatile everything is around the LCS right now. So in the future, we will definitely just need to be more sensitive about it, and if we are going to be doing any reporting, we're just going to really, check everything twice and make sure everything's nice.
Yeah, cross our T's and dot our I's, basically.
On a more personal note, I think I'm just done reporting. I don't think I'm doing it anymore.
Don't be scared because of one oops.
Yeah. Look, everyone's had their mistakes. The Travis
Everybody
Gaffords
has
and
those
the
days.
Jacob Wolfs of the world have all had their own flaws and oopsie moments. And
just become a Pokemon and everything will be better, and you'll learn everyone's secrets.
Exactly. Yeah. Then you can just, when you're LCS Snorlax, does that one exist yet? LCS.
No.
You know what? LCS Pidgeotto, I think, would be great. Because then you can just fly away.
That's too many syllables.
No, you can just fly away when you get caught for, dropping some nonsense. All right. So, quick reminder that if you can't catch all of the show, the VOD will be available here and on YouTube on our channel, Flight Check Podcast. Audio versions, all on your favorite listening platforms as well. Let's get into the news from the week. Lots to discuss. Let's start out with a little bit of Melee. Tipped Off 14 took place this past weekend in Georgia. Pretty good tournament. I thought the venue, I don't know if you guys saw any pictures of the venue.
It's not like one. It looks pretty cool.
Oh, it looks so cool. It looked, I think it, if I'm not mistaken, took place in like a college like lecture hall, basically, or something like a college auditorium, something like that. I thought it was absolutely, yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It looked really good. What did not look so good, unfortunately, the results for Jmook. But kind of the opposite for KoDoRiN. Not too bad from him, especially in maybe regards to some of his more recent performances. But yeah, super interesting tournament. So Jmook actually went down in the round of 64 to MOF. It went in a straight 3-0, which was really surprising as well. But he turns it around. He 3-0s Vu, then Joshman, and then SFOP. 3 3-0s in a row in losers round 1, 2, and 3. Until runs into Amsa again, and this guy is just an obnoxious pain for Jmook right now.
This Yoshi is just ungodly, or just for us, it's ungodly.
Yeah, for
everyone else,
well,
him
especially for FlyQuest Melee right now. Amsa's Yoshi just is on another level. We cannot get past it. A solid 3-0 from Amsa over to Jmook. Amsa ends up making it to, I think he got 4th place.
Yeah, he ended up losing to Moki in the lower bracket finals.
Yep. And so Jmook, a little bit of a tougher one for him. Look, I do appreciate that he bounced back from that round of 64 drop, goes 9-0 in the next 3 rounds, really cleans it up. And yeah, just that 3-0. I just feel like that Yoshi, bit of his kryptonite right now. And it's just tough. So, he's got to work through it and get through the difficulties. But, he'll be back for sure. And, looking forward to seeing what he does next. I need to look and see what tournament he's supposed to be in. Because sometimes he'll, like, on his, upcoming tournaments. Okay, so he's got Wave Dash in a couple weeks. So, look, if this was probably a good warm-up for Wave Dash, which is not, like, super full yet. There's only says 400, 500 attendees, which is still pretty good. I do want to note, Jmook and Cody Schwab did rock the doubles bracket. So he did not go home. Yeah, did not go home trophyless. So pretty solid stuff from him. Thoughts on Jmook's performance and this kind of obstacle that Amsa's become for him recently?
I feel like Amsa is just his wall right now, and I mean, I think in general, don't get me wrong, Amsa is just he's just a top level player right now. He's just so good, and the way these tournaments work is if you just happen to run into one of those players, you just happen to run into one of those players. It's kind of the thing about why like Smash Melee has so many tournaments that you go to is just like it's any given day, right?
Yeah.
And so I mean, any given day, Jmook's one of those players too. You run into him, and you're like, ah, shit, man, and your run's just done. Like that's what happened to Mango this past tournament, right? What was the name of it? I forget what the tournament name was, but either way, I mean, it just happens, right? It was a bit unfortunate that Jmook had to go all the way through the losers bracket like that. After the 0-3 loss to MOF. That was kind of random and out of nowhere, I kind of figured. But then he looked absolutely dominant the rest of the way. And he even 3-0'd Cody Schwab, which was the person who knocked him out literally this past tournament. So, again, any given day, right? So I think I didn't get to watch that many of the sets. I think the only one I really truly saw was SFOP versus Jmook, and he handled that one pretty cleanly as far as I saw.
Yeah. I thought, when he was on, he was absolutely crushing it. It's just the Amsa being a difficult pain for him right now. KoDoRiN, on the other hand, makes it through to top 8. Also did drop, I'm trying to see exactly when he.
I did misspeak earlier. I said Jmook beat Cody Schwab. I'm sorry, it was KoDoRiN that beat Cody Schwab.
Yes.
That's my bad.
You are correct. KoDoRiN made it. He made it to top 32. He beat Panda in a 3-0, and then he ends up dropping to Axe in a close 3-2.
That freaking Pikachu, man.
Yeah,
that Pikachu.
But then, yes, KoDoRiN 3-1 over JJM, the 3-0 over Cody Schwab, and then the 3-1 over MOF, taking revenge for Jmook before KoDoRiN himself runs into AMSA. And I just rewatched that because that was losers top 8, so a tie for 7th for KoDoRiN. I went back and rewatched it, and I actually think it was fairly close. Like, AMSA never really stomped in any of the games. They were always it was always like a one stock.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to me, and I want to hear your opinion on this, Curly, to me, I feel like this is a good sign that KoDoRiN could be ramping up in time for, I believe he's also going to, he is also going to Wave Dash. So, which is in 2 weekends. So, I mean, that seems like a good sign to me. And I believe he's also playing in some other random tournament, like some random local as well. He posted on Twitter today. So he seems like he's warming up. He's getting ready to make a run at Wave Dash to me.
Well, then especially, like you said earlier, AMSA seems to be just the big wall for not just FlyQuest, just a lot of people in NA ever since he moved here and started practicing here. And so I think it's just once you get a player of that caliber in the scene for a first time, like, he probably is going to stomp on people a little bit. And so it's not just KoDoRiN leveling up, but it's like as KoDoRiN and the whole scene learns how to work around AMSA's Yoshi. You know, it's like every time you're doing well, eventually you'll come across someone where you just got to figure out how they play the game. And then once you figure out how they play the game, you'll be able to beat them, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think KoDoRiN and Jmook alike are just still studying AMSA, you know, especially the fact that it's close speaks, it makes me confident in the next time that either of them meet AMSA at a tournament. But it's he seems to be kind of the secret boss of NA right now.
Yeah, that is a good way of putting it. Looking at this tournament overall, because I do want to comment on it. What a classic matchup in the winners and grand finals. You had Zane and Mango first in the winners final, and then Mango makes it back, taking down Moki in a 3-1, and then Zane 3-1s Mango again in grand finals.
Did you by chance catch Mango's interview that he had?
No, I did. Enlighten me, please.
So it was funny because I'm still blanking on the last tournament. The name of the last tournament. I'm sorry, but the last tournament he dropped out to Jmook, right? I think round of top 8 or whatever, or not even top 8.
It was early.
Earlier than he's normal. And so basically, he was talking on a stream, and someone asked him a question like, "Are you just like washed now?" He's like, "Dude, why do I have to go this every time? Like, I'm not washed. I just wasn't trying." So everyone like starts calling out. It's like, "But you clearly just got like your shit rocked, right?" And he's like, "All right, fine. You know what? You wanted me to prove to you that I'm still good, and I literally only play good when I want to play good. This next tournament, I will try hard." And look at this. He finishes top 2.
Yeah.
Like the man only plays when he wants to play. That is purely it.
Yeah. Which is certainly interesting, and like it's an interesting way of approaching tournaments. Like, I guess if you're comfortable enough in like who you are and your reputation, then you can get away with things like that. Which is just such an interesting commentary, because you have players who will just absolutely try hard all the time. And they are so wedded to their reputation and who they are and what they're known for and their placements. And then you've got Mango, who's just like, look, I know I'm good. You all know I'm good. And if I want to, try hard at this tournament, then I'm going to. And I'm going to do great. But even when he's not trying hard, he's still like, placing top 12 and top 8, with no real problem. I think that's And, I think, is he going to go hard at, some of the big majors like your Genesises and, like Evo level kind of tournaments? Absolutely. But I think that's such an interesting approach.
It makes it fun to follow for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine if, like, league teams did that. Imagine if a player...
Unfortunately, you would need more than 3 tournaments a year.
Well, I was going to say, imagine if a player was like, hey, spring doesn't matter, guys. And, like, just really didn't try hard in spring at all. And then...
What does that sound like?
Dude, I don't know.
I wonder.
Sounds like somebody who likes to go on their stream and just make some really dumb comments. That's what it sounds like to me.
If only we had someone like that in the league. It would be very entertaining.
Yeah, if only we had someone like that. All right, so that is tipped off 14. Great stuff from Jmook and KoDoRiN. Let me get really fast, because I know KoDoRiN put what tournament he's going to be going to. By the way, Jmook should be... he actually might be streaming tonight, so... KoDoRiN's going to a local tonight is what he's doing.
Okay, so easy dubs. Get some good practice in.
Yeah, it's just a Verdugo number 200, so he's just, like, hanging out. I don't think... Yeah, he's just going to the local. I don't think it's, like, a big, like, warm-up tournament for him or anything. But still, he's doing that. And that is at Register Open. Never mind. It's tonight at some point. So, maybe we'll find the link and we'll rate it afterwards.
We'll rate it.
Yes. All right. So that is tipped off 14. Wave Dash is in 2 weekends from now, starting on the 16th. Be sure to tune into that. All right. Well, we've delayed talking about it long enough. Finally, after months, if not years, of us asking for it, the gracious overlords at FlyQuest have deemed it time to bestow upon us not only a Valorant team, but also a Counter-Strike team. And not just any program, not just any Valorant program, not just any Counter-Strike program, but truly one of the most legendary and storied programs in the FPS scenes. That is the all-female rosters of the Red program, now under the FlyQuest Red banner. Absolutely incredible stuff. I am so excited to have these women in the org. It's about time that we got some Valo up in here. Yeah. We are here, and we are ready to support these women. Absolutely. Cannot freaking wait. And even had some Counter-Strike tournament this past weekend to crack right into. So, FlyQuest Red, let me get the full rundown of the team. So, on FlyQuest Red for Counter-Strike, you've got Goose Breeder, Kelsey, BB On, KoDoRiN, and Mads. So Goose Breeder, Kelsey, Mads are from Canada or the States. BB On is from Australia. And KoDoRiN is actually French. And then they've got Coach Flashy from Hungary. And let me pull up the FlyQuest Red. On VLR.gg, they were being sponsored by Ludwig and Moist Critical's org, Moist Moguls. So they are known currently as Moist Moguls Red. But if you go to... Now you can go on the... on Valor.gg and just search up FlyQuest Red. So we've got Athena, Emily, Emluo, Dodonut, and Itnothin. Okay, I really apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but you've got Itnothin. You've got So Athena and Emily are Canadian. Emluo and Itnothin are from the States. And Dodona is actually Thai. I don't recall if she is from Thailand specifically or if she is just Thai in origin. So I don't know that. Can't give you guys the...
Her nationality is Thai.
Okay.
So, yeah.
There you go. So, super dope. Very excited to have all these teams. I do believe there is a... I don't know if there's actually... there has to be a coach, I assume. Or maybe they're just self-coached. I couldn't tell you exactly. So,
I'm not seeing a coach on the squad currently.
Yeah.
So, to be just squad only.
Yeah. So, we've got... two awesome teams now, ready to rock and roll, and I believe they should continue playing in the Game Changers series. Now, I was looking for information on how the Game Changers series works. Very difficult to find information, but from what I understand, there's a series of qualifiers that you have to do. There's there's an open qualifier, and then there's a closed qualifier. And from what I understand, I think there are some teams that are just automatically invited to the closed qualifier, and then there are other teams that, get in through that open qualifier. And if I understand correctly, back when they were CLG Red, they were automatically invited to the closed qualifier. So we are looking at one of the, you could argue, like, premier rosters in North American Valorant Game Changers right now. Not only that, and I know I'm talking a lot, so feel free to interrupt me, but I'm just trying to give like a good explanation of
This is good for me too.
who these folks are and where they're coming from and whatnot. So not only that, but they get into the Valorant, they make it through the closed qualifier, they qualify, into top 8, and then they play their way through to 4th place. They lose 0-2 to Complexity Gaming GX3 in the first round, but then they take down FaZe Clan GC and Evil Geniuses GC in 2-1s before getting taken down by XSET in lower round 3. So, circuit points wise, they earned 40 points. The distribution for first is 80 points, and then it's 60 for second, 50 for third, and 40 for fourth. I need to do a little bit more investigation into how they end up qualifying for Valorant, the Valorant Game Changers.
My understanding is it's top 2 in terms of point total at the end of the 3 series.
That does seem what it looks like. So there should be more series to come. At least
so series 2 starts in July is what I'm seeing. July 13th, I think. Okay. No, sorry, July 26th.
Yes, and then yeah, so it's gonna be a while before we see them play again, unfortunately. But it should be. It's not too far away. It is. It'll come up faster than we expect, and I'm also not. I don't think that's going to be like the only stuff that they participate in. I'm fairly certain.
Okay. So their open qualifier, because I'm assuming they have to go through the open qualifier, right? You think so, right?
I would assume they probably get invited to the closed qualifier because they placed top 4 in the first one. So that would be my assumption.
Well, if they do go through open qualifier, that's July 13th. If not, it's the closest main tournament for them will be July 26th is when it starts.
Gotcha. So, very exciting. Got a legitimate Valorant team to root for. And, right now, like a top, you could say top 4, top 8, however you want to put it, but a top team, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think what's important for everyone to understand, though, about this Red roster in this program, it has a long-standing history under the CLG banner. CLG Red has been around for a very long time. Like, if you go on Liquipedia and look at CLG Red Counter-Strike, they have been around since mid 2015. This program.
Wow, that's older than FlyQuest itself.
Yes, and some of the best female players in Counter-Strike have played on this team. You've got names like Potter, Miss Harvey, Benita, Jennifer. All these folks have played on CLG Red at some point in time. And this is a program that is known for doing very well and also being very consistent at it, and just sticking around through thick and thin, even while other orgs are dropping their rosters and changing players out. That happened on this team too. But CLG Red was known for consistently performing at tournaments. If you look, 2015 and 2016, little bit rougher, but then you start to get into 2017, 2018, and then 2019, they were just winning so many tournaments, or just doing well at so many tournaments. Not only that, they would play against male rosters as well, and honestly, they would not do that bad. They would never go so far as to win, any big tournaments or do a lot of top 8s or anything like that. But they would still perform. They would, weed out some of the, really low tier teams, and they would end up playing, some big names from time to time, and really not doing half bad against them. So I really want to make sure to emphasize that this is a program, and this will be a roster that we can expect to regularly play. First of all, regularly play. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Counter-Strike, because I think there's a new Counter-Strike coming out or something like that. And so who knows what that's going to
something like that, maybe.
Something like that, maybe.
We'll see.
And then obviously there's the Valorant roster as well.
Mm-hmm.
But we should expect good things. This is not
absolutely.
This is not a frivolous investment, I think, by FlyQuest. This is not we'll have a female team and we'll see how they do. No, this is hey, this is a good team. This is a good program that has historical success, and we're just bringing it in under the FlyQuest banner. And this is something that should be cheered, and people should be really excited about. And these players are getting the opportunity and the support that they need to succeed. So I am really, really excited about it. And I don't want to see.
I'm just happy we've got.
Yeah, I don't want to see anyone saying.
Twice the esports.
Yeah, I don't want to see anyone saying, they should have just signed an all-male roster. I don't want to see any of that bullshit on my timeline. Absolutely not. I'm very excited to have this roster here. I think they're going to do great. All right, I have talked.
You've been on for a minute, man.
All right. Monologue, Sandy. That was that was the FlyQuest Red monologue. But look, it's important to know the history and the context of all these things. So, all right, give me. I want your reactions to all of this, please.
I kind of like this, though, Sandy. So you can monologue for all the CS:GO Valorant stuff.
Man.
Yeah.
And then me and Curly can go on our rants and monologues for League. It'll be perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
I'll let you go first, Curly.
I mean, I'm just, like I said a second ago, I'm happy to have twice the esports to talk about. Expanding Valorant is something, as you said, we've always been asking for. And I'm impressed that FlyQuest has now given me a reason to actually watch CS:GO. Granted, now I need to learn how the heck CSGO even works, because someone's explained it to me before and I still don't get it. And so, like, I mean, as an esport tournament wise, so I'm going to need to figure out how to keep track of all this stuff. Someone needs to make a schedule of when everyone's playing so I can figure out where to divide my time and where to just look at score trackers and all that stuff. And then also, I need to learn what the hell is good and bad in CSGO, because I only played it for like 2 months back when I was 16 and I hated it.
Yeah.
So it's it's exciting to have more to talk about. And then also, like, at what point do we start doing what good old 100 Talk did and start having special Valorant episodes or special Call of Duty episodes like they did, you know?
Well, I think
Maybe
that'll.
we should start doing that.
I mean, that'll come absolutely as when there's a lack of LCS content to discuss and recent Valorant things. Like, I can absolutely see.
We talk all things FlyQuest.
Absolutely, and I can see episodes where a Valorant Game Changers tournament occurs over a week or a couple weekends, and we get straight into it on the show, and maybe we just skip what's been going on in LCS for weeks so that we can discuss what's going on there. So I think all of that is absolutely possible.
Yeah, and just to add my thoughts really, really fast, I think this was just an easy slam dunk from FlyQuest, right? Like, you had two very storied, historical game changer teams and two very big, notable esports, right? That were just free agents on the market. Like, yes, hello, please, I too would like to purchase this team and then have an easy cash in on, like not to say like it's an easy cash in or anything, right? But like, it was just like, it's so nice to make sure that the story of these girls continue and that you continue to grow the sport for them and just continue to be inclusive for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And in general, I mean, getting specifically into the tournament this past weekend, that the FlyRed played in for CSGO this past weekend, they looked pretty solid, I thought. That was my first time ever watching them.
Yeah.
I know the first match was a little rough, but then they bounced back and they made it into the actual playoffs little section, and then they dropped out from there. But I thought, from the little bit of CSGO knowledge that I have, I thought it looked fairly solid. I enjoyed watching it. I had some fun with it. Hopefully, I need to do more research, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know the history of the CSGO side of things all that well, but I don't know. They look good enough to have be exciting, and that's fun for me. And it's just a new esport to learn things about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Completely agree. I think this is a really good opportunity, and I think I would not be surprised to see this being the first instance of future investment into the Valorant and Counter-Strike scene, especially as hang on as I frantically Google future of Counter-Strike. I think Counter-Strike 2, whenever that ends up coming out, obviously there's absolutely going to be a pro scene for that. And I really can see this investment as being indicative of future interest in fielding a Counter-Strike 2 team and a Valorant team that is designed to, qualify into the North American Challenger scene and eventually make its way into the, partnered VCT scene as well. I can absolutely see this being like a testing ground for figuring that out, and I think it's a good way of doing it, where you're not just slamming the table and being like, all right, we're buying the best VCT Challengers team out there, and we're gonna see what they do. No, you're taking your time, you're getting the lay of the land, you're understanding how things work. And I think it's a good approach. So I'm really excited for this. I think we do have to discuss, obviously, how FlyQuest Red did at ESL Impact this week. So we'll get into that right after you guys hit me with any final thoughts about FlyQuest Red and bringing them into the fold.
Just a solid acquisition. Good job, guys.
Good jersey too. I like it.
The jersey does
I like it.
pretty good. All right, well, we'll make this part quick. F.RED at ESL Impact. We'll discuss them real quick. So, after qualifying to the LAN finals from the North American division, which I will note, CLG at the time, they were CLG Red, or they were ex-CLG Red, I think. They went 6-0 in their group, and then crushed playoffs to make it to the Season 3 finals. And then they do a bit of that tournament bracket style where you have opening matches, and then the losers play an elimination match. Winner of that plays the loser of the winner's match, right? And then that's the decider match. So you end up getting 2 qualifying out of each group. 2 groups of 4, Group A and Group B. FlyQuest Red, they got put into a division with Shimmer, which was the other North American team, 9 Pandas Fearless, which is an all-Russian team, so part of the European division, and Nigma Galaxy Phi, also from the European division, which has a mix of Russian, Slovakia, and Romanian players. They end up dropping 10-16 to 9 Pandas Fearless on Overpass, unfortunately. They did pretty solid. I think they won... Yeah, they went 8-7 on CT side, and then proceeded to get blasted 2-9 on when they were on T side. So not super great. And this is where I need to really start educating myself on.
Yeah, because I don't know how the maps are supposed to play out. Like, I don't know what T-sided or CT-sided.
Yeah.
We lack a lot of knowledge in this department.
We're gonna need to sign on a CS:GO expert to consult before episodes.
So T side. So I'll equate it to Valorant if you guys, So T side is basically attackers.
Attacker side, yeah, I know that.
They got the bomb, they have the spike, they got to plant it, etc. And then CT side is defender. They got to stop the plant. They got to defuse. They got to take out all the enemy. So I mean, ultimately, Valo and CS have very similar core concepts. It's just Valo adds powers and all kinds of other nonsense.
They're both tactical shooters.
Exactly. So 10-16 drop to 9 Pandas Fearless. But then FlyQuest Red do what they do well, and they absolutely dominate another North American team. They 2-0'd Shimmer 16-13 and 16-9, notably winning that 16-9 on Overpass. And then they go up again versus 9 Pandas Fearless, and this time they beat them on Overpass, and then they 16-6 them on Mirage. So really dominant, 2-0 in the decider, and they make it to top 4. So really good stuff, and then run into Na'Vi Javelins, and I gotta be honest, they kind of got their butts handed to them. They got 16-3'd on Inferno and 16-7 on Anubis. Those are maps, by the way, that I am naming for those who don't know.
I believe I remember Anubis.
I don't know if I've actually ever seen Anubis, if I'm being completely honest. Kind of rough stuff on that, on those maps, on, just really... Goosebreeder did pretty well on Anubis, and BBon actually did fairly decently, as well on both. She went 18-7-19 on Anubis, and 13-3-17, so, probably did the best out of everyone. KoDoRiN was kind of near the bottom, and they were also, maybe I was wrong about who they have on the team. Oh no, I said Mads. So kind of rough stuff from there. BBon clearly performed probably the best in that best of 3. Just unfortunate that they couldn't take it home. And then Na'Vi Javelins end up losing to Nigma Galaxy Phi in the grand final 2-0. But still, 13,000 prize pool winnings for FlyQuest Red. 50,000 was going to first place, which is crazy to me. It's actually like very surprising in like a really good way that the prize pool is so big for a female tournament. Is that like as surprising to you guys as it is to me?
I don't know prize pools well.
I mean,
when it comes to money side, of like especially because I don't know what the standard tournament
that's what I
winnings
was
are
gonna say
for
earlier.
CS:GO stuff. I don't have benchmarks here.
Yeah, I feel like
I will say it is awesome to see a prize pool that big for Game Changers. That's kind of cool.
yeah. Well, that's for ESL Impact. That's CS:GO's version, kind of. Not really their version of Game Changers, but like for female Counter-Strike, yeah.
Overall, though, I just, yeah, I keep looking at the prize pool. I don't like. It's kind of cool to just see the prize pool is actually that high. So
Yeah.
let me go look at like a normal Counter-Strike tournament. Like how I wonder what the difference is.
Yeah,
just
let
out of
me,
curiosity. So the other thing is, so what was that considered? That was like a B tier tournament by like the Liquipedia standards, right?
Hang on. If I pull up, let me just pull up like Navi Javelins and see if it says. No, so that was considered an A tier tournament.
Okay, so let me look at another A tier tournament.
Yeah, so
we'll look at
it was considered a major tournament. So like, all right, A tier tournaments. ESL Challenger.
Exact same prize pool as a Challenger A tier tournament. Then exact same prize pool, exact even. So that's actually kind of sick. That's awesome.
Yeah. Which so yeah, that's really good to see. That it is not like less money being given out basically. No, I think that's really awesome. All right, super dope. Great things to come from FlyQuest Red all around. Super duper excited. All right, that's all we've got on Smash,
Fred,
and Fred.
I'm Fred.
Valorant and Counter-Strike. So let's get back to our bread and butter. Gentlemen, it's now your turn to talk. LCS negotiations continue. Things are heating up. Maybe. Who knows really how negotiations
and our resident spring breakers making comments publicly on Twitter that may or may not be hurting the efforts of the LCSPA.
Yeah, so both of you, just talk to me about what's going on right now. I know there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that a lot of us aren't privy to, but what have you guys been hearing, if anything, and then kind of like where do things stand right now?
Well, it's interesting because like Riot and the LCSPA have both come to an agreement of like, hey, we are actually at the table. We will not be talking to media currently, right? So
Yeah.
in terms of like new information, it has been a full-on blackout. Unless you got something that I haven't seen, Curly.
No, I do not have anything. I don't have any friends at the table. So yeah. Honestly, we're all just kind of sitting on standby, hoping for the best. This is a case where I kind of feel like no news is good news because that means that there's active conversations. Now, does that mean that the conversations are going well? Hard to say. We're not there. One can only hope.
Yeah, I think pretty much. So the only news we have had is been the whole double lift thing, which apparently he doubled down on. I didn't see the video on that part. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
Why don't you kind of summarize it for us?
Well, so the first thing he did, the first video, he made like a 22-minute long video going over how the LCSPA's asks were unrealistic and how it wasn't really beneficial for the scene, and basically the only reason he really truly rallied the 100 Thieves players together to do the walkout and that was supporting the walkout was because like he just thought optics-wise, which I mean isn't the best reasoning ever. It's not terrible reasoning, but it's not the best reasoning either. He said optics-wise, it should probably just be a tier 2 scene, and that was about it. Which is like, there's a couple of things that are wrong with that. It should be more than just optics for having a tier 2 scene. There are legitimate reasons why you should have a tier 2 scene in North America for League of Legends, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that's like the very, very short TLDR version of his 22-minute long video. And so, typically, if you're part of a walkout, you don't really speak out publicly about the reasons why the walkout shouldn't really be working or anything, right?
Yeah,
Well,
that's not something you do.
No offense to LCS players, but not typically known for their understanding of,
Labor unions
labor
and,
dynamics. Not really part of the job description usually.
So, yeah. And of course, Doublelift gets lambasted by large swaths of the internet. And then what does he go and do? He doubles down. He has a whole article that comes out basically stating, like, I don't understand why people are criticizing me for what I said, because all of it's true. And so, you know what? Let's be objective here for a second, right? All the points that he made are not actually really all that wrong. Like, everything he said was kind of technically correct. However, he cannot be the one to say these things because it absolutely just destroys the argument the LCSPA has going on for them. Because he is a part of it, right? Yeah. So it's just, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're not wrong, but, like, just shut up. Just shut up. Let the LCSPA, let Phil Aram do their thing. Just let them handle it, and then after it's all done, by all means. Like, you could honestly, you could probably do a whole 20-minute video after the LCS starts again and after everything's going again. And honestly, that shit would probably pop off. Everybody would be like, oh yeah, totally. But no, not during the freaking walkout and while the talks are happening. Like, you just sabotage your own group.
Very bad timing.
So, yeah, I think, unless, that's pretty much the only news that I've had in terms of the LCS specifically and the LCSPA. There's been lots of NACL news coming out if you guys want to get into NACL stuff.
No, I mean, let's absolutely talk about it. Curly, any final thoughts on kind of that Doublelift's comments and where things stand negotiation?
Solidified my opinion of him as a person. Once again.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doublelift.
You're not wrong. You are. Yeah. No. Let's get into some NACL discussion. I know we've had a lot of teams not announce their rosters, but a lot of rumors.
We've had a lot of Pokemon tweets happening lately for the NACL rosters.
So lay it on us, Knox. What are some of the big signings that are being reported, and what players are you really interested to see back in the NACL scene for the summer?
So, first thing is first. I don't know if we really covered it at all last week or anything like that, but a quick rundown of the new 10 teams, or some new, some not so new. You have Disguised, who is owned by Disguised Toast, local internet celebrity, famous for offline TV and other things. You have Wildcard Gaming, last split known for Moose Hater and his Garen spin to win. Fly Challengers is still here, thankfully. Team Fish Taco was allowed into the league, even though they didn't qualify earlier on this year. Partially, I think, because Riot just really needed a nice round number of teams. You had Team Liquid Challengers, who's back. You had Maryville University, who qualified in. You have Evil Geniuses Challengers, who's sticking around. Kind of surprisingly as a side note, but we don't need to get into that. Cincinnati Fear is still here, and then you have AoE Gold, who is now partnered officially with Golden Guardians.
Nice.
So those are the 10 teams of the North American Challengers League for this summer. I'm not going to go, like, do you want me to read out all the known or reported on rosters? Or?
No, just talk to us about, like, some of the ones that really stand out to you right now.
DSG, or D9 as people have been calling it, because it's 3/5 of the old Cloud9 Challengers roster, plus Young from Golden Guardians Challengers and Meech from CLG Challengers. Yeah. That should be a very competitive roster. Fly Challengers with their new upcoming top laner, which I'm not going to say because I might get in trouble. Always going to be a contender as well. Wildcard Gaming, Zamato is returning from Korea in his boot camp with LS, so that should be rather exciting.
Nice.
Team Fish Taco has acquired one Lunacia, Fly Fam top laner who second most solo kills last split. Looked very, very solid. Looked very, very promising. Keep an eye out for him. Along with that, NXI makes his return onto an actual Challengers team, I guess, technically, if you want to call it that. Except he's no longer jungle. He is a support.
He's in the support role.
So that's a bit wild. I don't know how that ended up happening.
That came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was just weird. TLC is the exact same. Maryville University, exact same roster that qualified from the qualifiers. So that should be kind of a fun, interesting team. I don't know how they're going to do. Fear, our boy Philip was basically brought down to them. Should be honestly still pretty promising with the roster because I really like Perry, and I think Perry and Philip should work really, really well together. Along with that, JJ has come out of his break and he's back as a support.
Oh, really?
And then,
okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of JJ personally. I know he hasn't been like super great in terms of like actual competitiveness as a support, but he's always been fun for me to watch. And then lastly, we have AOE, who it's a roster.
All right, so why don't you like this one?
So my main issues with it are Concept, Lynx, and Breezy. Lynx wasn't bad. I didn't really have many issues with Lynx, but he wasn't like a guy that really grabbed my attention at all. And then Concept has not been someone I've been like I think he needs to be back in amateur, or he needs. I don't know. He's not really managed to impress me while being in the tier 2 scene, which typically means I think there should be other players who might be getting a shot over you. But that's just my perspective. Yeah. And then Breezy is also not to the same level of Concept, but not really been someone who's ever really impressed me all that much. On the flip side, though, the positives of AoE, you have Will making a return from 100 Thieves, who he took a break, I think, to finish high school, if I remember correctly, and then Darkwings, who I've been a huge fan of, and he's kind of bounced around the NACL a little bit. And then the last team, Supernova, reportedly, from last I heard, as of like 2 hours ago, has verbal agreements with 3 out of 5 players. I don't know any of the rumors, but prior to like 2 hours ago, they had no players signed.
Okay, but now they've got at least 3.
Yes, they have 3 out of the 5 verbally confirmed.
All right. Well, everything's saved now. Everything's taken.
So that is a quick, but not so quick rundown of the NACL this coming summer split.
Nice.
That's pretty
brilliant.
That was awesome.
That's fantastic. What out of all those teams, can you tell me like the 2 or 3 that are really like standing out to you as, hey, these should be the guys to contend for that championship?
So I immediately have to point out TLC. They were 3rd, I think, in this past playoffs.
Yeah.
Had an incredible run after a really good regular season. They finished 9th in the regular season and then made this giant run through the lowers bracket, and honestly, it was just super impressive, right? So with all the turmoil and shifting that happened, keep an eye out for them. Disguise was 2 or 3/5 of Cloud9 challengers plus Young and Meech, who are both great, who were like really star players on their respective teams before they joined Disguise. So this is a team that you should really be keeping an eye on. They should do really, really well. Fly challengers with their new top laner, I have faith in, but at the same time, they keep never managing to make it all the way. So I always have like the dark horse check mark on them. And I would say those are probably my favorite teams to do well this coming summer. If you want one more dark horse, I'll probably give it to Fear. I think Philip with Perry and Shochi and Minui should be really, really, really good. And then I'm probably a little biased here, but I think JJ is always just solid enough, and he's not going to hold the team back. But I think Fear is a nice, solid dark horse to do well.
Nice. Curly, out of all of those, any teams standing out to you yourself?
I mean, obviously, Disguise is going to be one that just appeals to everyone, because he took Jack for his word. He said, "I will literally give these players to anyone,
right?
Who's willing to give them a chance." Now, granted, considering it's the NACL, I'm sure there was some level of there was some pay negotiation that obviously occurred. It wasn't just, here you go, Disguise Toast, start a team with my players. But
Yeah.
If you were an internet personality looking for an LCS team or at least getting into tier 2 League of Legends, and then you saw that tweet, why wouldn't you go after that, you know?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's the most predictable thing. And I think you rounded it out really well. So I'm really hopeful for seeing that. And then I would like to see like Moist Moguls get into this scene as well. I think kind of internet personality teams are actually a potentially good future for the league, especially because sometimes I don't see them as traditional business owners. You know, I think they're going to give a lot more care and passion and promotion towards what they do, and then also just bring in a whole new set of eyes to the LCS. Because I'm sure a lot of offline TV regular fans don't watch LCS all too much, but if you get Disguised Toast bringing them in here, that's an excellent start.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Not completely, but I think to some extent. I think there is some level of danger with the like influencer investment thing where they're like, oh, this is a fun thing to do, and then like as Toast found out, oh, I just lost $1 million for my bank account, you know, and like how long are it's similar with like the VCs and stuff like that. How long are they willing to keep doing that until they say like, "Hey, I'm not like getting anything out of this really." So you look like you have something to say here, Knox.
You want to hear something terrible?
Please, I love bad
Well,
news on a Monday night.
yeah, at least Disguised only has one team in esport now.
Woo!
Well,
Yikes! For
yeah.
those of you who don't know, Disguised just got relegated, I believe, out
Yep,
of
they are out of the challengers scene for Valorant
out of
now.
the Valorant Challengers scene. They would have to go through the open qualifier if they were going to try to get back in, I believe.
And I mean, and this is speculation at this point, right? But you had Yay on your team. You had
That team was.
Steel
I
on
was
your team.
literally just looking at that team. That team was stacked. Like it had good
Yeah.
teams
So
or good
like,
players. So
it doesn't make sense, right? So knowing the costs, well, I don't know the exact cost, but I know the costs for that team were rather expensive, right? I would not be surprised if Toaster's just like, you know what? I'm taking a break off of this. My new baby's going to be the NACL. Let me pour my love and support into this, and we'll see how this one goes. Because I mean, fingers crossed. Like he had two stacked rosters for both like teams, right? Hopefully, and I highly doubt it'll happen. Hopefully, he doesn't have another roster of stacked names like just drop out and fail.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen theoretically, right?
Yeah.
So my prediction is, yeah, he's just going to have the one team, and he can give all his love and support to the NACL, which I think will be great and fantastic for the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's. I completely agree. All right. I think that's pretty much it. That's all the news. That's all of my opinions, at least. Do you guys have anything else you want to hit on? I think Curly might be frozen. So.
Well, that's a big old rip.
Yeah.
I will say, supposedly, we'll see if any last minute shenanigans happen or not. But North American Challengers League is supposed to start this coming weekend, this Saturday.
Oh boy!
So
we'll see.
We will have some FlyQuest Challengers League of Legends that we can talk about on Monday, which will be exciting because we've had no regular FlyQuest to talk about so far. And there goes Curly. R.I.P. Curly.
Is the 2-person is not set up yet?
It's fine. We're wrapping up here. It'll be a little scuffed on terms of the NA production.
Yeah. Here we'll do this just to get us both on the thing for the time being.
Lines. Avoid the lines.
Yeah, avoid the.
I'm in North American production jail.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, he's back. He's making his return.
He's on the phone, folks.
We're just gonna wrap up the show on here, I'm sure.
Absolutely. All right, so I believe that is pretty much everything for us. Curly, any final things you want to say? I've got one thing after you go, so and then we'll close out the show.
Just really hope to hear some more news about LCS. Really would like to have a summer season to pay attention to. You know, kind of really suffering from that LCS drought.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry. LPL came back this past week, and
my favorite region.
And LCK starts on the 7th, actually. So Wednesday, LCK's back. KT versus HLE and Damwon Kia versus Live Sandbox. So, hey.
But Sandy, when does the LEC come back so I can spam in the chat?
When does the LEC come back so you can spam in the chat? Not for a while. The 17th of June, actually, which ironically might be the same week that NA starts back up. So, heyo, good times.
That's the real reason Riot fucked up.
Absolutely.
They wanted this whole drama to occur in NA so we could line up perfectly with EU.
Yeah. All right. One final thing that you guys should definitely be checking out. Riot's college championships tomorrow and Wednesday. We've got Maryville University versus the University of St. Thomas. That's for League of Legends. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, also at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, the Valorant College Championship, Northwood University versus Winthrop University. Several big college esport teams in there. Winthrop and Maryville, both notorious for regularly participating in college esports. So great to see some powerhouse orgs making it to the finals. Looking forward to seeing what those players can do. Hey, maybe this is the future of any development right here. So you can catch both of those 3 p.m. Eastern Time on the respective, I think, twitch.tv/LCS, then also the Valorant America's Twitch channel as well. All right, that is all we have got. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode of Flight Check. Big smorgasbord episode. Lots to talk about, so we appreciate you sticking with us through it all. Who knows when LCS is coming back? Be sure to check out those college championships this week, and then hopefully some NACL as well, starting up real soon. Be sure to follow the show and ourselves on Twitter for all our instant reactions and thoughts to anything that comes up, except for unverified news. You won't see that here. You can catch the show at Flight Check Crew, myself at SantosDB, Nox at NoxWar with 2 R's, and Curly at Curly_QQ_. They will get those Twitter handles eventually. I promise. It'll happen.
I keep checking.
I'm waiting for the day that Wayne is gone from existence.
We'll see what happens. Make sure to hop into the Flight Check Discord as well. If you're in the Twitch chat, you should be able to scroll up. There will be a link from Moobot sitting there for you to join. All kinds of esports discussion and otherwise taking place in there. If you missed any part of the episode, the VOD will be up on YouTube tonight or tomorrow morning. If you're watching that and would like to catch the show live, we broadcast the episode usually every Monday night, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at twitch.tv/FlightCheckCrew. Curly, any final notes, shoutouts, or plugs before we wrap up?
Shout out to The Legend of Zelda for giving me a lot of free or a fun way to kill my free time lately.
Absolutely.
But on the flip side, a big FU to Death Mountain for being the worst region in the whole game. Because god damn it, why do I have to keep finding lizards to be able to survive the region? This is impossible.
Nice.
But yeah.
Awesome. All right, Nox, how about you, sir?
I'm going to give my shout out to Set9 TFT.
Oh,
I played
baby.
the PBE like all day Sunday. I might grind this set. I might actually see if I can hit Diamond for the second time ever because I'm feeling it. This set is fun. So, yeah, shout out to Set9.
Nice. Yeah, it does look like a fun set for sure. I will likely participate in a little bit of playing this week myself. When does it leave the PBE? Do you know?
It should be not this week, but like next Wednesday.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, maybe I will wait until next Wednesday then to get some TFTing in. All right, for my part, my shout out is going to go to, it's going to go out to my fiance. She broke my washer dryer last night. But it was a 20-year-old washer dryer that my apartment, complex, puts in. And, we had them over today, asked them to come by and to, get some of the water out and, just clean everything up and take a look because the guy said it was the transmission. And they just replaced it with a brand new one that's definitely not 20 years old. It looks maybe 10 years old or 5. Hard to say. So shout out to mistakes being turned into, positive little instances. Beautiful. And now my clothes get washed and dried much more efficiently.
That's beautiful.
And, it doesn't take me 90 minutes to dry a medium load of laundry. It only takes 60. What a wild concept. Absolutely.
That is insane.
Crazy. All right, we will be back next week to see what the hell happens with the LCS and any other...
Hopefully to discuss the start of the LCS.
Hopefully discuss the start of the LCS and anything else that's been going on in the FlyQuest world. So for now, please stay safe out there. Don't forget to hit the head on the nail, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Adios, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Peace, y'all.